Greetings YouTube, Fuzzfinger here, and in today's episode of Diablo 3 we're going to be running the second challenge rift, which is going to involve a rift with the new Necromancer class. So do come and join me. If you enjoy the episode, don't forget to hit the like button and be subscribed to my gaming channel for more in the future. The new Challenge Rift feature is a feature that's been made available to us since the latest patch has gone live. It's an interesting concept. I do believe it's going to be refined a little bit later as the game continues to be developed. One of the interesting things about today's Challenge Rift, or rather this week's Challenge Rift, is that it involves the new Necromancer class. And so even if you have not purchased this new class, because it is part of a DLC bundle, you do still get to try the class out by playing it in this Challenge Rift, which means that you just do it the same as you did previously on the first Challenge Rift. Go to Game Settings, select Challenge Rifts as the option. You can see the time that needs to be beaten here in the Rift itself, which is 6 minutes and 53 seconds. And as before, the first time you beat this timer within the week, you collect the Challenge Rift cache, which contains crafting materials and blood shards, so on and so forth. So yes, you can do this one, as I said, even if you haven't purchased the Necromancer class. Consider it as a bit of a trial if you like, and then you can see if you like it or not. Thank you, by the way, to my current subscribers, or my new recent subscribers, I mean. So I haven't actually done this week's Challenge Rift, which means I'm not too sure of the build that's being used, although it looks like a pet build. Let's go and have a look at the items used. Okay, so that's interesting. It's the Rathma and the Jesseth set combined, which is a build I haven't yet played myself, but is a build I've been interested in trying out. I was actually just not able to do so because I haven't had the Jesseth Skull Scythe yet added to my collection, but it is the one item I need to really give this build a go. So this pet build is basically, from what I understand, having researched it myself in collecting it, although having said not played it yet, it's going to involve good resource management and good positioning. Now, looking down here at the skills hotbar, I'm not seeing the blood rush ability. So for some reason, whoever has been creating this build has decided not to use any movement skills, which means we're just going to be running around the rift. Fair enough. And there's no socket in the weapon. You know, it's interesting. Both of the challenge rifts now have involved suboptimal builds that people have used. I'm not sure why that is the case. Whether these templates are picked randomly by Blizzard, by the Blizzard servers or whatever the game, or whether Blizzard themselves actually select the challenge rift templates. I'm guessing it's the former, because otherwise it would be extra work involved, wouldn't it? So I'm guessing there's an algorithm as to how difficult the rift is compared to the time that the player beat it in, so that most players can at least beat the game time that's given initially, and then can actually go on and change their own score afterwards. But so far we have been getting these suboptimal builds. So very briefly I'm going to look at the actual build that's being used here. So we've obviously got the 6-piece set bonus, so the Ring of Royal Grandeur is no doubt in the cube. And that's going to boost our pets, our skeletons, to do more damage, and also reduce the cooldown of our Army of the Dead ability, which happens automatically with this set when our pets attack. And we're going to want to keep Skeletal Mages up, which has the Singularity rune, which means that the Skeletal Mage is powerful, but consumes all our essence when summoned. So since essence doesn't regenerate at all, we are going to carefully then have to make use of our abilities and skills that do regenerate essence, so that we can continue to summon those skeletal mages. We need to do so really at full essence, because it's at that point that the skeletal mages are given full power. And then when we've got a couple of skeletal mages out, I guess we can go ahead and do Land of the Dead. And we also need to keep Command Skeleton up. What we don't seem to have is the There's an ability, I think it's called, we can't actually change abilities, I understand that. I'm just going to have a look so I can remind myself what it is, which I expected to be part of this build. I think it's Decrepify, and that's good damage reduction. But even though I'm pretty sure it's a standard part of this build normally, it doesn't look like we're going to be using it today. Command Skeletons is something we need to keep active at all times. That will keep the damage bonus up from our pets because of the 2p set bonus of the Jessith set, the weapon and the shield. And it also means that once we cast Command Skeleton, then the Command Skeleton ability should stay active so long as there's enemies around. As you can see, the skeletons would normally finish after about 6 seconds or so, or after they kill the enemy. But now they jump from enemy to enemy. And then the 2 big cooldowns we've got are Land of the Dead, which allows us to cast most of our skills without any cooldown, or without corpse requirements, which is useful. And then also we have Army of the Dead, which does a lot of damage and has a long cooldown, but can be reduced by our pets attacking. Then we have Siphon Blood, which regenerates health but also gives us essence as well. And I think we're just gonna have to go and dive in and see what we get here. I don't even know what level this Greater Rift's gonna be. Level 30. So I shouldn't expect this to be too challenging. We just want to keep those Skeletor mages active. And it's a shame we don't have any movement abilities such as Blood Rush, especially since we're going to have exploding enemies here for starters. But fortunately the set bonuses themselves do actually mean that we do just basically a lot of damage anyway, don't we? And we just keep moving through here.
All must serve the cycle.
So what do you folks think of the new Challenge Rift feature anyway? Being able to replay another person's Rift. And just to confirm, this Rift is basically an exact duplicate of the Rift that the other person played. And our essence is going up quite quickly, so I don't need to keep spamming these Skeletor mages quicker than I have been doing, I realise that. So the enemy spawns are identical, obviously the Rift layout is identical. It is the very Rift that the person who completed it did play. Which also means if you go ahead and repeat this Rift, then you'll also be playing the exact same level layout, so you can pretty much learn what it is that you're going to be facing.
Your death nears.
Guessing we need to go this way. I haven't really had a need to use the cooldowns as of yet, which is why I haven't done so, but let's give it a go, shall we? I like that. Go and grab the power shrine.
No. I'm afraid not.
Keep getting slowed down, which is annoying because we don't have Blood Rush. So one thing I have noticed is that Essence regenerates very, very quickly.
Decay and rot.
Hopefully we'll be getting some slightly better spawns on this next floor and catch the timer up by doing so. And outside rift, that's what we like to see. Let's just go for Land of the Dead here. No blood rush makes things a little bit tricky.
That is not possible. That is not possible. You.
Don't forget your command skeleton ability also does cast essence. Certainly something to consider when you're spamming skeletal mages.
I'm afraid not.
I can see the exits there, but I do want to try and see if there's any more elite mobs on this floor, since it's an outdoor rift and there tends to be a few, but it doesn't look like that's the case. So let's just quickly make our way to the next floor here. We're so slow. The Necromancer's just moving so slowly.
Decay and rot.
Got 35 seconds. I think this is going to be a little bit too tight, but we'll see.
All must serve the cycle.
If we can spawn the Rift Guardian very quickly here and get all our cooldowns blown, maybe we'll stand a chance. Got 19 seconds to do so. Of course he'd move out of that, wouldn't he? We've done it. We've done it. That was actually a little bit tougher than last week's, mostly because of trying to quickly learn the build on the fly. But one thing I did learn is that Army of the Dead actually does pop up, even though it's on a 2-minute cooldown, because of the Command Skeletons ability here. Let's go and check out our reward. We can go ahead and try and beat our time a little bit later on if we wish to do so, though of course there is no further reward for doing that. So we'll go ahead here and load up our own Necromancer with our Inaria set, which I'm really enjoying playing, by the way. Interesting, there's very little resource management involved in this set compared to the previous one. And we can see there's our Challenge Rift reward, so we'll go ahead and claim that bad boy. And inside we get a bunch of stuff. But that's it for the week. Anyway, folks, so that's today's Challenge Rift beaten. Let me know if you guys play that as well and how you're doing it. And come back again soon. Maybe we'll see the next Challenge Rift in a week or so. But that's it for me for today, folks. So thanks for joining me. Come back soon for more Diablo. Take care.